Did you know that most random number generators aren't actually random? They're what are called pseudo-random. They're good enough for a playlist shuffle, or picking a winner for a giveaway, and they're even good enough to help you face your fate. Okay, perhaps they're a little too honest, but it got me wondering, if software is just a set of predictable rules, how can we make something truly random? Something that even a supercomputer couldn't predict. You see, the problem is most computers use a seed and a formula to output a string of numbers. If you know the seed and you know the formula, you kinda know the future. To break the loop, we need chaos, we need the real world, we need a source of entropy. Initially, my thought process was to try and get that source of entropy using a thermometer to measure the temperature of a cup of tea. Not only did I think it would make for an interesting video title, Can a Cup of Tea Be a Random Number Generator? But the thermal noise I get from the readout should be a random starting point. However, its readout was too smooth and too slow. Instead of a raw jittery mess of noisy data, the internal processing rounds off the randomness into static numbers that produced a fairly predictable trend line. It's at this point that I thought, well, that's it, video's over, boo-hoo for that idea, and better put the lens cap back on. However, when I did that, I saw something quite interesting. If I crank up the exposure, the random image noise you would expect from low light became really apparent. And I don't know about you, but I can't predict what's going on here. See, even though the lens cap is on and no light is allowed in, we still get plenty of juicy thermal noise. This happens because after shooting video for a few minutes, the electronics start to heat up. That heat is actually kinetic energy, and it causes electrons to spontaneously jump within the sensor's pixels. To turn this into a random generator, I decided to hook up a camera into a microcontroller so I can stream the data wirelessly. Once everything is hooked up, I covered the camera with some opaque tape to block out all light and produce random noise. Then, to harvest this chaos, we first look at the LSB, or least significant bit. In computer binary, this is the very last digit on the right of a number. While the first bits define the big picture, like if a pixel is bright or dark, the LSB represents the smallest possible unit of information. It is so sensitive that even a microscopic vibration of a single electron can flip it from a 0 to a 1. Since the data is stored on a scale, if I cover the lens, a perfect sensor should output 0 for every pixel. A silent line of pure digital black. But in reality, that's not the case. This noise floor means that even in total darkness, pixels will jitter. By targeting the LSB of these dark pixels, we ignore the black image and listen only to the high-speed static of the sensor's own electrons. Using the microcontroller to stream the data wirelessly, we can package this into a nice web access point and even add a nifty little consulting the universe button and ask the ultimate question, will this video perform well? Well, at least we tried, and by continuing to try, it looks like it's roughly 50-50, which is what we would expect if we have truly random odds of just yes or no. However, to double check that our random number generator is truly random, we can capture a few thousand data points and look at the data to confirm it's functioning as intended. Looking at the graph, we do see that it's pretty close to 50-50, or about 51% to 49%, which isn't too bad. But we should be cognizant of something called bias. If I flip a coin heads or tail, again we would expect it to be 50-50, at least in theory. And so if we repeated the same experiment, say 2,000 times, we would expect 1,000 heads and 1,000 tails. However, if our coin isn't perfect, say we stuck a piece of duct tape on one side and weighted it, well, now we have a slight bias, and our data, if we were to repeat the experiment, would not show a perfect 50-50 odds, and instead would be skewed. This skewing is called bias, and is something we need to look out for. Since realistically speaking, our sensor is going to have some flaws, and is not perfectly constructed. So one of the ways we can address this is to apply a Zoring operation. We can look for areas that are identical between frames and are not changing. Maybe we have a piece of dust, or a scratch on our sensor, or something creating fixed data that isn't random. When we find areas or pixels that are identical and not changing, we can go ahead and remove it from our dataset so we don't bias our sample, creating a clean, random dataset. Anecdotally speaking, once we turn this on, the yes or no button feels a little more balanced. But to verify this, let's capture another few thousand more data points and check the math. This time around, we see a slight improvement, getting even closer to that perfect 50-50 by successfully removing the fixed pixels that were faking randomness. By the end of the day, we've basically turned a cheap camera sensor into a high-speed noise harvester. Instead of worrying about getting a clear picture, we're doing the exact opposite, leaning into the sensor's own heat and hardware quirks to find that perfect, unpredictable, jittery mess. It's a fun way to see how even a boring black screen is actually full of microscopic activity. And with that said, I certainly had fun, and thank you for watching.